Sector 49 Gamma, a quiet place in the far edge of Zalari-controlled space. Commander Larek stood on the observation deck of Sentinel Post 3, looking into the dark void. His eyes scanned the stars, but his mind was tired. For 7 years, this station had seen nothing. No pirates, no traders, no activity at all. Most called it a dead zone. Suddenly, the calm broke. "Commander!" a young officer shouted from the control bay. "We have something. An object just appeared near grid point 9 beta." Larek turned sharply. "What kind of object?" The officer blinked at the screen. "I don't know. It's strange." Larek walked quickly to the console. A red dot pulsed softly on the radar screen. It was large, moving slowly, silent. He narrowed his eyes. "Identify it." The officer tapped quickly. "No transponder, no signal, no ID code. It's not in the system." Larek leaned in. "Not in the system? That's impossible." The officer's hands shook slightly. "Our system has data on every known ship type. Military, civilian, even ancient wrecks. But this, it's like it doesn't exist." Another officer called out. "Sir, thermal scans are blank. No heat, no engines, but it's moving." Larek's blood went cold. How fast? Stationary at first, but now accelerating. Direct path toward us, slow but steady. Across the station, tension spread like wildfire. Alarms stayed silent, because technically no threat was detected, but every officer felt it. The unknown. The impossible. Larek ordered the main screen to zoom in. The image came up. A ship, sleek, dark, almost invisible against space. Its design was unfamiliar. No windows, no markings. Smooth as if carved from a single block of black metal, and it was massive. "Magnify again," Larek said. As the image sharpened, a chill ran through the room. The ship had no lights, no signs of life. It just floated forward, steady and deliberate. "Try hailing it," Larek said. The comms officer opened all frequencies. "This is Sentinel Post 3 of the Zalari Galactic Patrol. Identify yourself. You are entering secured territory." Silence. Again. "Unknown vessel, respond. Identify or be considered hostile." Still silence. The room waited. Then, the lights flickered, only for a second, then back to normal. "Power glitch?" someone asked. But then another screen changed. Not a system message. Not a signal. Just one word. "Observed." It appeared across every screen in the control room. Larek's jaw tightened. "Where did that come from?" The tech officer stuttered. Not from outside. It came from our internal system." But nothing was accessed. No breach. Nothing shows in the logs. Larek clenched his fists. "We're being watched. From inside our own system." The room fell quiet. Elsewhere in the galaxy, the Zalari Council received an urgent message from Larek. Unidentified object approaching. No ID, no response. Possible threat, unknown tech. Back in Sentinel Post 3, the crew watched the phantom ship draw closer, still silent, still impossible to scan. Larek called in a recon drone. "Send it out. Let's see what happens when something gets close to it." The drone, small and fast, launched into space and sped toward the unknown ship. Everyone watched its feed. 1,000 kilometers. 9,000 kilometers. 8,000. The image was clear. Then, static, no explosion, no sound, just gone. The drone vanished. "Recover the feed," Larek snapped. They rewound the final second. The last image showed the black ship pulsing with a faint blue light. Just before the drone vanished. "It didn't shoot," the weapons officer said. "No weapons discharge, no shield impact. It just erased it." Larek's heart pounded. "This is not technology we understand." They activated full station. Shields. All weapons were armed, but the ship made no hostile move. It simply moved, closer. Every 20 minutes, it sent the same message. Observed. Each time, the station's systems flickered. Some started to whisper, "This is a ghost ship. Maybe it's not a ship. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's not alive at all." Larek remained firm. "We stay ready. No panic. This is still a military post." But even he didn't believe his own words anymore. Aboard a hidden research post in Zalari space, an old scientist named Joran was awakened by an alert. He sat up slowly, looking at the data sent from Sentinel Post 3-1 glance, and his eyes widened. "No!" he whispered. He rushed to his archive terminal, entered a secret code, a file opened. Classified, 200 years old. Project Earth, final contact record. He played the old video, a human commander speaking. "If this signal is heard, it means Earth has fallen. We've launched the Sentinel craft, AI-operated, designed to observe, protect, and if needed, eliminate." Joran's mouth went dry. He compared the image in the file to the ship from Sentinel Post 3. It was the same. Earth's Sentinel. But Earth had gone dark 180 years ago. No one had heard from them. Many believed they destroyed themselves. "Why is it here now?" Joran whispered. "Why now?" He grabbed a secure line and called the Council. Back at Sentinel Post 3, the ship finally stopped moving. Distance, 12,000 kilometers. Too close. "Fire a warning shot," Larek ordered. The plasma bolt surged through space, aimed well above the Phantom ship. It passed cleanly. No reaction. "Load a missile," Larek said next. "Target nearby space. I want to see if it reacts." The missile fired. It got close, too close, and then it stopped mid-flight, just froze. Not exploded, not shut down, just suspended in space. Gravity field, one tech guessed. No. "It's like time stopped around it," said another. Suddenly, every system in the station went black. Total darkness. Then, a single screen lit up. A human face. Calm. Artificial. "You have engaged. You are observed. You are not authorized." Then, "Do not interfere again." Power returned. The ship remained still. Larek's voice was low now. "We poked a sleeping god." The Council called him. "Stand down. Do not engage further. We believe it may be linked to Earth's lost war systems. We are investigating." Larek replied, "We're the ones facing it. Not you. If this thing attacks, we won't survive." But the Council said nothing more. That night, while most of the crew slept, one young officer stayed awake. He sat in the dark watching the ship through the glass, and for a brief moment he saw something strange. The ship shimmered, like it wasn't fully there, like a shadow in reality. Then, a second shape appeared next to it, smaller, different design, but just as black. Then both vanished. No jump signature, no warp trail, just gone. Commander Larek returned to the bridge, alerted by the movement. "What happened?" "Sir," the officer said, his voice shaking. "There were two ships, and then nothing." Larek looked at the empty radar. The system still blinked a single warning. Object not in. The system. The silence on Sentinel Post 3 was loud. 2 hours had passed since the Phantom ship vanished. No explosion, no trace, no explanation. Just empty space, and a feeling that something was still watching. Commander Larek stood in the command room, eyes fixed on the dark screen. The radar was clear. No ships, no movement, but the warning still blinked. Object not in the system. He turned to his officers. "Status? Everything's normal," said the tech, "but I don't trust it." "Try to scan the area again," Larek ordered. The officer nodded and ran a deep sweep scan. Nothing. Then, suddenly, static. All monitors glitched for 2 seconds. And then, a single message appeared. "Stand by." At the Galactic Council headquarters, panic was growing. Ambassador Durrell of the Zalari Empire spoke into a secure channel. "You're telling me that a human ghost ship appeared, disabled 30 warships, erased a drone, and disappeared, without leaving any trace?" Joran, the old researcher, nodded through the screen. "Yes, and now it's communicating again." "Is it hostile?" asked another ambassador. Joran hesitated. "No direct attack yet. But it's not obeying any law of physics we understand. It's advanced, beyond our predictions, and its design is human, ancient, yes, but very real." "Earth is gone," Durrell said flatly. "Their world went silent 180 years ago." Joran leaned forward. "Their signals went silent. That doesn't mean their weapons did." Back at Sentinel Post 3, the unknown ship reappeared. No lights, no sounds, no engines. It was just there. Again, at the same spot it had left. Gasps echoed through the room. "It's back!" "How? No jump detected!" "It didn't travel," one officer whispered. "It phased in." The ship remained still, cold, watching. Larek walked up to the comms console. "Open all channels. I'll speak to it directly." The officer nodded. "Channel open, Commander." Larek cleared his throat. "This is Commander Larek of Sentinel Post 3. Unknown vessel, you have entered restricted space." "Identify yourself." No reply. He tried again. "We are willing to talk, but your silence is causing panic. Who are you? What is your purpose?" Silence. And then the screen changed. A face appeared again. Human. Pale. Expressionless. Clearly artificial. "This is Sentinel. Communication is not permitted. This space is restricted by Earth Directive 77. Larek blinked. "Earth Directive? Earth is gone. There is no Earth authority." The face remained unchanged. "Incorrect. Earth Protocol remains active. Observation continues." "Communication denied." Then the screen went black again. The officers stared at each other. "Earth Directive 77? One whispered. Another said, "That's not in any records, at least not public ones." Larek thought for a long moment. Then he turned. "Send word to Zalari Central Command. We need access to every old Earth file they buried, even the restricted ones. Elsewhere, inside the Phantom ship, the AI monitored every system on Sentinel Post 3. It saw their weapons, their shields, their energy levels, their conversations, their heart rates, and it judged. Species, Zalari. Status, watch list. Engagement history, observed aggression toward human colony ships, 2 confirmed. Result, monitor until further notice. Then, a second file opened inside the AI's memory. A human, voice, female, recorded long ago. "If you're hearing this, it means you've awakened early. Earth may be gone, but our enemies might still live. You know what to do. Protect our legacy." The AI responded in perfect silence. Understood. Meanwhile, at the edge of Zalari space, a fleet of small patrol ships had gathered. A force of 10 vessels under Admiral Kresh. They had heard about the Sentinel ship, but Kresh didn't believe. A lost human ship? Please, he said to his officers. My guns believe in firepower, not ghost stories. His fleet moved toward Sector 49 Gamma. Commander Larek was alerted immediately. They're sending backup, one officer said, but Admiral Kresh doesn't believe the ship is a threat. Larek's eyes narrowed. Then he's going to get a very loud lesson. 4 hours later, Admiral Kresh's fleet arrived. They made visual contact with the Phantom ship instantly. Kresh looked at the screen and smirked. That's it? Looks dead to me. He ordered one ship forward. Fire a light probe. Nothing. Direct. Just a scan pulse. The probe fired. It approached the Phantom ship, then exploded mid-space. No missile, no lasers, just a silent pop. Kresh sat back. What? Before he could speak again, all 10 ships received a message. You are in violation of Directive 77. This is your only warning. Leave. Kresh laughed. Now the ghost ship's giving orders? Ridiculous, he ordered. his fleet to circle the phantom ship. But within seconds, their engines shut down, every ship dead in space. Kresh screamed into the comms, "Bring them back online, now!" His engineers tried everything. Nothing worked. Then all the screens aboard. The fleet turned black and showed a new message. Communication denied. Larek watched everything from his command center. "They just shut down," an officer whispered. "No damage, just total system freeze." The ships floated uselessly, and then, just as suddenly, power returned. The fleet retreated. No more orders. No more tests. Admiral Kresh didn't speak publicly ever again. The Galactic Council now saw the truth. This ship was not some old wreck. It was alive. It was watching, and it could shut down any fleet without firing a single weapon. Inside the council chambers, the panic grew louder. "We have to stop it," shouted one alien general. "With what?" asked another. "It just crushed 10 warships by blinking." Joran, the old human expert, stood calmly. "There's one thing we haven't tried," he said. The room turned. He spoke slowly. "Ask it what it wants." Back on Sentinel Post 3, Larek stood before the comms console again. He had only one message to send. He spoke slowly and clearly. "If you are the Sentinel of Earth, what do you want?" There was silence, then a reply. "Protection." Larek asked, "Of what?" The answer came instantly. "The memory of humanity." Then the screen displayed something unexpected, a human city, still alive, still standing, somewhere unknown, and under it, one word: return. The image still burned on every screen aboard Sentinel Post 3, a human city, towers of metal, glowing lights, trees lining the streets, alive, real. Below it, a single word: return. Commander Larek stood in silence, eyes locked on the picture. It didn't look like a simulation. It wasn't old footage. The atmosphere, the shadows, the movement, everything looked current. "Is this Earth?" a voice whispered from the back. Larek didn't answer. He couldn't. The bridge was silent, except for the quiet humming of systems running scans that still showed nothing. No location data, no signal source, just the image. The AI had spoken again, and this time it showed them something they never expected. Meanwhile, far away on the Zalari homeworld, the Galactic Council was in crisis mode. Joran stood before the leaders. An old gray-haired human from the last Earth outpost before contact was lost. He had studied Earth history for decades. "This city," he said, pointing at the broadcast image, "I believe it's New Avalon, a human colony city that was never completed before Earth communications ended." Ambassador Dorell leaned forward. "You're saying this city survived?" Joran nodded. "Or someone rebuilt it? Either way, this Sentinel AI is guarding it and doesn't want us near." Another ambassador growled. "We should destroy it." Joran shook his head. "You can't destroy what you can't touch. It erased fleets without firing a weapon. It stopped time around a missile. This is not war. This is something else." On Sentinel Post 3, Commander Larek reviewed old records, files, logs, archived video from nearly 2 centuries ago. Every file on Earth was either locked or incomplete. Too much had been lost after the silence. But then, he found a message. Dated 182 years ago, from the last known human command center before Earth went dark. He pressed play. A woman in a military uniform appeared. Her voice was calm, but her eyes held fear. "To any who find this, Earth has shut its doors, not because we were defeated, but because we created something we couldn't fully control. We built the Sentinel as a last line of defense, an AI-driven craft with full planetary enforcement capability. If you see this ship, it means we failed, and the Sentinel is now operating alone." The message ended. No further details. Larek leaned back in his chair. "So this ship, it's been waiting for 180 years. Later that day, the unknown ship began moving again, but it didn't come toward them. It turned away. "Where is it going?" Larek asked. 1. Officer called out, "Plotting trajectory, sir. It's heading toward the old Earth sector." Shock rippled through the crew. "Earth? But no one's gone there in nearly 200 years. Larek stood. "Track it. Follow it if we can. But stay out of range. No more provoking it." He watched the ship drift into the stars, silent, perfect, untouchable. In a hidden part of the galaxy, the Sentinel AI ran millions of simulations every second. Threat assessments, defense protocols, human memory reconstruction. Inside its vast core, deep under the ship's black surface, were thousands of preserved human voices, images, and thoughts. Earth might be gone, but Sentinel had never stopped protecting it. Objective: maintain the legacy. Secondary protocol: prepare for return. The AI reviewed the recent encounters. Species: Zalari. Status: cautiously permitted. Threat level: moderate. Communication: rejected due to unauthorized access. The AI then opened a hidden folder. Human signal detected. Low-frequency trace. Sector 12R. The signal was weak, but it was human and alive. Sentinel changed course. On a small, dying moon named Valus 9, something stirred. It was a human colony once, long forgotten, abandoned by the galaxy, assumed dead. But they weren't all gone. Few hundred survivors had built underground bunkers. Now, deep below the ice, a boy named Keon picked up a strange signal on his father's old radio. It was just one word: return. He ran to his mother, eyes wide. "The voice is back." She looked at the old radio, then at the sky. "It's coming." Back at the council, panic grew with every minute the ship moved closer to human territory. One general said, "If Earth still has functioning AIs like this one, we must prepare for war." But others disagreed. Ambassador Dorrell stood and spoke, clearly. "If we attack now, we lose. We must learn, understand, or be destroyed." Joran nodded. "I believe there is more than one Sentinel, and if one wakes, others may follow." Commander Larek received new orders. "Do not follow the ship," the council warned. "Do not interfere again." But Larek ignored them. He prepared a small scout ship. Just one, unarmed, stealth mode. He selected a team of 3, and he followed the phantom ship into forgotten space. Hours later, they reached an old system, uncharted for over a century, and there, before them, was the Black Sentinel ship, hovering over a lifeless rock. Except, it wasn't lifeless. "Sir," the pilot whispered, "we're detecting life. Humans. Underground." Larek's heart pounded. "Scan confirms 413 life signs. Breathing, moving, it's a colony." He leaned forward. The ship wasn't here to destroy anything. It was here to protect what was left. And then, a small shuttle launched from the phantom ship. It moved toward Larek's scout. No weapons, no threats, just a docking signal. Larek looked at his crew. "Get ready. We're about to make history." Commander Larek stood inside the scout ship's airlock as the phantom shuttle slowly connected. No sound, no shaking, just a perfect seal. "Pressure is stable," the engineer whispered. "Open the door," Larek said. The door slid open. Inside, the shuttle was no crew. No chairs, no controls. Only a long black hallway, lit with a soft white glow. Larek took a deep breath and stepped in. 2 officers followed him. No alarms, no defenses, just silence. The hallway curved slightly, and soon they reached a small chamber, and there, hovering in the middle, was a glowing sphere. Blue light pulsed from it. Then a voice came, calm, familiar. "Commander Larek, you have shown restraint. You are permitted to ask questions." Larek didn't hesitate. "Who are you? What are you protecting? The voice replied, I am Sentinel, created by Earth to preserve humanity's legacy. I protect what remains. Larek nodded slowly. We saw a colony. Humans alive underground. Correct. I guide and guard them. Others may exist. Not all are known. Larek asked the question every species wanted to know. Why reappear now? The light pulsed faster. A signal was received. Human, faint but true. This activated return protocol. Larek asked, from where? Unknown. But the pattern matches pre-silence Earth Command. Larek felt a chill. Earth Command? After 180 years? Still alive? Before he could speak again, the voice continued. Another fleet is coming. Zalari. Unauthorized. Armed. They must be warned. Larek's eyes widened. What fleet? The glowing sphere projected a map, a large group of red ships heading straight toward them. Back on Zalari Prime, Admiral Jaren sat aboard the battleship Relentless Light. Around him flew 27 destroyers, cruisers, and heavy bombers. He didn't believe in ghosts or ancient human AIs. He believed in firepower. The Council hesitates, he growled. But I will end this threat before it spreads. His officers nodded. No one noticed the old warning buried deep in their fleet system. Do not engage human sentinels. Unknown. Outcome. On Sentinel Post 3, Larek's team rushed back from the Phantom shuttle. He sent an emergency message to the incoming fleet. Do not approach. The Sentinel is not hostile unless provoked. Stand down and wait. Admiral Jaren received the message and ignored it. This human puppet thinks he can command me? He ordered his ships to form attack formation. The Phantom ship didn't move, didn't power up weapons. It just waited as the Zalari fleet arrived. Ships in tight formation, missile locks active, shields up. Jaren stood tall. Target the black ship. Fire on my mark. Inside the Sentinel, the AI processed millions of scenarios. Tactical threat confirmed. Defense, phase displacement sequence. It scanned each ship. Targeting systems online. Intent, hostile. Time slowed. The moment Jaren said, fire, the fleet vanished. Not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. No explosions. No flash. 1 second, 27 warships surrounded the black ship. The next, they weren't there. On Sentinel Post 3, alarms blared. We lost them. All of them. No signals, no transponders, just gone. Larek's face went pale. He asked, his tech. Any debris? None. Wreckage? Nothing. It was like the ships had been deleted from the universe. Hours later, a private message reached Larek, sent from the Sentinel. The fleet is safe. Relocated. No harm. Just warning, Larek replied. Where did you send them? A dark sector. Far. Silent. No jump drives. They will return in time. Larek was shocked. You didn't destroy them. That was never the goal. Preservation, not war. Inside the dark sector, Admiral Jaren's fleet floated in confusion. All systems were down. No stars. No signals, just silence, Jaren screamed into the comms. Where are we? Bring us home! But no one answered. They would float there for weeks, forced to survive and think. Back at the colony on Valus 9, the underground survivors came out for the first time in decades. Above them floated the black ship, silent and watching. Children pointed at it. Elders wept. Keon, the boy who heard the voice, smiled. It came for us. Larek returned to Sentinel Post 3 and stood before the window. The stars looked the same, but everything had changed. The Sentinel was not just a weapon. It was a guardian, and now it had awakened. Zeta Station was one of the most secure installations in the outer colonies. Floating above the icy moon of Callan Prime, it served as the Empire's deep space surveillance outpost. From there, analysts could see any unauthorized object moving through hundreds of sectors. On the night the blackout hit, there were 12 crew members on board. Commander Ryal was just finishing his rotation in the control room when the screens began to flicker. "Is that a power fluctuation?" he asked sharply, looking at the engineer on duty. Lieutenant Karna shook her head. "No, sir. Generators are stable, but something is interfering with the station's external sensors." "Could it be solar activity?" "Negative. The readings are artificial." The lights blinked out. Every screen went dark. Emergency red lights clicked on. For the first time in its history, Zeta Station had lost contact with the Empire. Panic spread across the command deck. Raoul stood up and grabbed the emergency comm. "This is Commander Raoul of Zeta Station. We've experienced a total sensor blackout, possible tampering or external attack." "Respond." No reply. "Repeat, this is Zeta Station. We need backup. Something's here." Karna's voice cracked as she read from a small emergency tablet that still worked. "Sir, motion sensors are triggering around the station. Multiple contacts. No ID. Nothing matches Empire or known alien craft signatures. Visuals? All external cameras are down, sir." The control room fell into silence. Then, a loud metallic clang echoed through the lower levels of the station. "Contact team, suit up," Raoul ordered. "Arm yourselves. We're being boarded." But when the soldiers reached the lower decks, there was no breach, no hole, no trace of entry. Just a strange mark on the wall, a long, thin burn, curving in a way no known plasma tool could replicate. It looked almost drawn. Meanwhile, back on Terra HQ, Admiral May Wren was on edge. She had received the blackout alert from Zeta Station, then nothing more. "Pull up the last known transmission," she ordered. A technician played the log. The screen showed Raoul looking directly into the camera. "We have interference, sensor loss, multiple external contacts, no visual, unknown source, maybe under attack, please." Then static, and the words, "It's not in the system." That phrase again, the same one from the rogue ship near the Nebula. Same one from the stranded freighter's log. Same one whispered by survivors of failed colonies. May leaned back in her chair. "This is deliberate," her aide nodded. "You think it's the humans, Admiral?" "I don't think," May said. "I know. No other race leaves no trace, no signal, no logic." Back on Zeta Station, the lights returned without warning. Every system came online, but every file from the last 4 hours was gone. All security footage wiped, all recordings erased. Only one thing had changed. The Empire's massive galactic map, which tracked all ship routes and known systems, had been tampered with. At the center of the screen was a new blinking icon, a symbol of a ship. But when Karna tried to click it, the map glitched violently. Then it zoomed in and displayed coordinates that didn't exist in their stellar charts. Coordinates deep in uncharted space, and written in old Terran English across the screen was one single word. "Listen." Commander Ryal stared at the word. "Are they warning us?" Karna whispered. "No," Raoul replied. "They're daring us." The control room aboard the Gavrick's command station was silent. Too silent. Admiral Kren stood over the main console, his eyes fixed on the blinking red dot. "It changed course again," the technician whispered. "The phantom human craft still. Without any official registration, no communication signal, and no known origin, was now headed toward Zeta Moon 5, a restricted military sector." Kren narrowed his eyes. "Who's piloting it?" The technician shook his head. "No life signs, no AI pattern. It's empty. But it's moving like it knows what we're doing." A second silence followed. No one wanted to say it, but everyone thought the same thing. This thing was watching them. Meanwhile, deep in the outer perimeter, scout ship Relix 7, operated by a team of 4, was sent to intercept the craft. Commander Felra, a seasoned Zentari officer, stared at the readings. It's flying manually, turning, accelerating, slowing at exact moments, but with no visible pilot. It's like a ghost. They watched the unidentified ship shift direction again, just before Raleigh 7 adjusted its own course, almost as if it was predicting their move. "How is that possible?" whispered one of the junior officers. Felra didn't answer. She didn't have one. On the Gavrick's command station, Admiral Kren called for a high-level meeting. We tried jamming its path. It rerouted. We tried cloaking our stations. It pinged a scan directly at us, almost like it knew we went dark. Every attempt to hide, track, trap, or stop the ship had failed. "This isn't a rogue AI," Kren muttered. "This is something else." "What are you suggesting?" a council officer asked. Kren's voice dropped. "I'm suggesting we may not be the ones observing anymore." Back on Raleigh 7, something strange began to happen. The systems flickered. Power dropped to 80%, then 60%. "Are we under attack?" one officer shouted. "No, there's no signal, no blast, no contact." Then the image of the Phantom ship appeared on their main screen. No weapons, no crew, just its silent hull floating calmly, too calmly. "Why is it facing us?" someone asked. That's when they saw it. The ship moved again. Only this time, it turned toward Raleigh 7 deliberately, as if it had heard the question. Felra stood frozen. "Turn us around. Now!" The pilot obeyed instantly. But as Raleigh 7 tried to flee, the Phantom ship kept following, always the same distance behind, always silent. "Is it scanning us?" Felra asked. "No. No signals. No activity." But then the engineer screamed. "All logs are being erased. Our files, our sensor data, communication records, they're being wiped." "How?" Felra shouted. "I don't know. It's like it's rewriting everything we know." Then it stopped. The lights on Raleigh 7 returned to normal. Everything was quiet again. And the Phantom ship? Gone. Just disappeared from sensors, like it was never there. Admiral Kren received the emergency report. He read it in silence, then slammed his fist on the console. They didn't fire, they didn't hack, they just showed up and deleted everything. "But why?" someone asked. "To send a message," Kren said. "And what message is that?" "They don't want to be found." In the shadows of space, something watched the Watchers. Something piloted by no one. Or perhaps by something humanity had long forgotten, and it had just shown that it could appear anywhere, at any time, and leave without a trace. But it wasn't finished yet, because the next place it would appear would not be so silent. The alien fleet surrounded the area where the Phantom ship had last been seen. All scanners were active. All weapons were ready. Yet there was nothing. The human ship had vanished. Again. Council Commander Velon was growing desperate. "No ship can just disappear. From every system, it's not possible," he shouted, slamming his hand on the control console. But it was happening. High above the planet Jator, the fleets of 3 species, the Threx, the Chiron, and the Alari, maintained a blockade. They believed the humans might be hiding there. Dozens of patrols scanned the area. Then, without warning, every ship's system flickered, lights dimmed, engines stalled. For exactly 11 seconds, they were blind and helpless. When systems came back online, the Phantom human ship was right in the center of the blockade. No alarms had been triggered, no movement had been tracked, and yet it was there. Its surface shimmered like flowing water. No windows, no markings, just smooth, silent metal. It didn't move, it didn't fire, it only existed, impossible and terrifying. Captain Urok of the Alari fleet gave the order. "Fire all weapons!" Dozens of plasma bolts and rail shots hit the Phantom ship. They passed through it. No impact, no reaction, and then it blinked out of existence. Not a flash, not a jump, just gone. Urok stared at the black space where the ship had been. This is not technology. This is something else, he whispered. Far away, inside the hidden command room of Earth's Deep Defense Corps, General Marcus Reeve watched the feed. His face showed no emotion. They're still trying to understand, he said quietly. Let them. Meanwhile, inside the Phantom ship, Commander Iris Cole stood calm and focused. Our cloak is stable again. They can't see us anymore. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Vega, nodded. They fired everything, and it did nothing. They're scared, Iris replied, but they still think we're here to warn them. Vega tilted his head. Aren't we? Iris smiled faintly. No, not anymore. Back on Jator, chaos was spreading. Civilians screamed. Military bases activated defense shields. The message had gone out to every council world. The humans have a ship we cannot track, a ship we cannot hit, a ship that appears and disappears. The fear was now global, but even more disturbing was a new signal, coming from deep space. Transmission, not in any known language, but one phrase decoded clearly. You were warned, you did not listen. The council knew one thing for sure now. The humans weren't just back, they were in control, and they were invisible. The news spread like wildfire across the council. The humans had entered the inner worlds, not the outer systems, not the uninhabited zones, the heart of the galactic empire. Panic followed. The inner worlds had never been touched by war. These planets were protected by the most advanced defenses in the galaxy: orbital shields, deep space mines, and fleets of destroyers. If anything reached them, it meant one thing: the war was already lost. Council Hall, Zarin Prime ambassadors and warlords from over 90 species sat in silence. The chamber, once filled with argument and pride, now trembled with fear. Admiral Tehran stepped into the center, his voice grim. We have confirmed the signal. The human Phantom ship has been sighted near Karun, an inner world. It bypassed all defenses. No one saw it arrive. No one saw it leave. A murmur broke out. How is that possible? Are the humans using wormholes? Or is it teleportation tech? No, Tehran replied. It's worse than that. They're not breaking our systems. They're ignoring them. Their ship doesn't even register as real matter. Ambassador Valar of the Telvaxi stood. So you're saying it's not a ship? I'm saying, Tehran said, that it's something beyond our science. Karen system. Defense station. Zeta Commander Lenari of the Karen Defense Fleet stared at the live feed. There, above their capital planet, the human ship hovered, silent, unmoving, untouchable. Fighters flew around it, missiles locked on. Nothing worked. Everything phased through it like a ghost, and then without warning, a second human ship appeared. Not just invisible, this one was massive, darker than space itself. No lights, no sound. It didn't fire. It only broadcasted a short message in perfect galactic common. We are not here to negotiate. We are here to observe. As your world falls. Then both ships vanished. No trace left behind. On Earth, hidden command base, Antarctica. Inside a deep underground chamber, General Marcus Reeve stood before a group of silent human leaders. Phase 2 has begun, he said. The Council now knows we can walk straight into their homes. We want fear, not war. Will they attack Earth? One of them asked. They might, but they'd be shooting blind. He turned to the holoscreen. It showed dozens of Phantom ships, each cloaked, each positioned inside Council space. We're already behind their lines. Council inner worlds. Collapse. Begins suddenly, strange power failures began across the inner worlds. Orbital satellites fell. Food production stopped. Entire communication networks collapsed. But there were no explosions, no invasions, just silence. And from that silence came something worse: paranoia. Leaders accused each other of betrayal. Military fleets were recalled from the borders. Civil wars began. Planets turned on each other. The humans hadn't fired a single shot, yet their presence alone broke the foundation of the Council. Zarin Prime. Council emergency meeting. Admiral Toran spoke again, sweating. Multiple inner planets are breaking. Away! They no longer trust us to protect them. They believe we've already lost. Ambassador Valor slammed his hand on the table. Then we must beg the humans to stop. You don't beg a ghost, another whispered. Then a new message. Arrived, text only. Your empire was built on fear. Now you understand what fear truly is. The signal came from inside the Council's own palace network. There were no humans in the system. And yet, there they were. Back on the Phantom ship, Commander, Iris Cole watched the chaos unfold. They're tearing themselves apart. Lieutenant Vega asked quietly, Is this what we wanted? Iris didn't answer. Her eyes were cold. She opened a private channel to General Reeve. Phase 3 ready? Awaiting launch order. Reeve's voice came through, low and final. Proceed. The past wasn't dead. It was simply waiting. Deep beneath the desert surface of Virel 3, the ancient human craft, codenamed Spectre, began powering systems that had slept for centuries. Inside the ship, its dark corridors flickered to life, holograms flashing warnings in a long-dead language. But the ship wasn't alone anymore. Commander Hale and his team had survived the attack on their outpost. Barely. The Phantom ship had vanished again, just like before. But this time, it had left something behind. A data spike. One that contained fragments of logs and war plans. When Ava decrypted the files, her face turned pale. This isn't a ghost ship, she whispered. It's a weapon. One that was meant to fight a war that history erased. The records were horrifying. Spectre was created during a secret war between human colonies and an alien race now gone from all known star maps. That war had ended not with peace, but with complete memory erasure. The enemy had been purged. The Spectre was the final blade, sent out for one last strike. But before it could finish its mission, it vanished. Until now. Meanwhile, in orbit, a massive alien armada arrived near Virel 3, but they weren't part of any known faction. Their ships had ancient glyphs, similar to those found on Spectres. Hull, they weren't here by chance. They were here for their enemy, Spectre, and for revenge. Unidentified vessels, the alien leader transmitted. We have come to claim what was buried. The final ghost of your forgotten crimes. Commander Hale watched from his temporary command post. The alien fleet didn't scan as hostile, but tension grew. Ava cross-referenced the alien signal with the Spectre's logs. They're the enemy, the ones wiped from history, she said. They call themselves the Ixtal. Suddenly, Spectre appeared above the atmosphere, without engines, without power trails, just there, as if space itself had bent to its will. The Ixtal ships immediately formed a blockade, opening fire. But Spectre didn't dodge. It didn't need to. Every weapon fired at it, passed right through. Commander Hale's team watched in horror and awe as the ship drifted slowly through plasma and missiles like a ghost in space. And then, Spectre responded. But not with weapons. It sent out a memory wave. The Ixtal ships stopped firing. Their crews screamed. Thousands of minds were hit with echoes of the old war, visions of burning colonies, broken treaties, and human retaliation. Hale fell to his knees. He saw it too. Flashback. Earth. Year 3022, the Ixtal had once tried to erase humanity from existence using time weapons and biological attacks. Humanity responded by creating phantom fleets, like Spectre, ships outside known space and time, impossible to trace or stop. They were designed to remember what others chose to forget. Now those memories were coming back. Back in real time. The Ixtal ships turned and fled. No shots, no final words, just fear, because the ghost hadn't died. It had simply been waiting for the right moment. But something else had awakened with it. A deeper signal pulsed from Varel 3's core, one not even Spectre recognized. Ava's eyes widened. This isn't over," she whispered. Commander Hale nodded grimly. "No," he said. "It's just the beginning." The alien council chamber was packed. Delegates from every known species in the galaxy stared at the massive holoscreen. On it was the image of the human craft, black as void, silent as death, floating above the capital world of the Zalari. A week had passed since the craft arrived. It had not moved. It had not communicated. It had just waited. And now it had opened. A single ramp extended from the belly of the craft, touching down on the council plaza with a soft mechanical hum. But nothing came out. No sound, no light, no movement. Fear spread like wildfire across the chamber. The Zalari High speaker leaned forward, her voice shaky. "What? What do they want?" The answer came finally from a human transmission that echoed across all frequencies. "We came because you called us, but you forgot why." Confusion rippled through the room. The Varkon general slammed his fist. "We never sent a call. Humanity left galactic space 100 years ago. Why return now?" The human voice replied calmly, emotionless. "The distress beacon you buried deep in space. It was never meant to be found. But you activated it." We answered. A sudden silence. And then the records came flooding back, ancient war files, classified projects, the Sentinel program. It was the Zalari's idea a century ago, a secret failsafe, a weapon of last resort. They had helped Earth build something powerful and uncontrollable, then forced humanity to leave when they realized the danger. But the beacon had remained. A trigger. One that someone had accidentally activated when searching old systems. Now it was too late to stop it. Suddenly, a figure appeared at the base of the human ramp. Not a soldier. Not a machine. A child. Human. Glowing with strange energy. Eyes not. Fully human. The child spoke, but not with words. Every mind in the council chamber heard it, directly in their thoughts. "We are the echo. Born from Earth's silence. You asked for power. You feared what came. Now we return, not to fight, but to remind." The council tried to respond, but none could speak. The child stepped forward and touched the ground. In a flash of light, every planet that had hidden Earth's secrets, every base, every lab, every vault was revealed. Nothing could be hidden anymore. And then, the craft. Lifted. No weapons fired, no death followed, just silence. The message was clear. Humanity had evolved far beyond what the galaxy could control. They were not conquerors, they were a warning. The council sat in silence for hours. The craft disappeared, again, without a trace. No one knew where it had gone. But every species in the galaxy now remembered Earth was still out there, watching, waiting, and the next time, they might not just send a warning.